Welcome to today's video, everyone. If you've ever wondered how to live a more peaceful, resilient, and meaningful life, you're in the right place. The world throws a lot at us: uncertainty, anxieties, setbacks. It can feel overwhelming. That's where Stoicism comes in. This ancient philosophy, embraced by emperors and everyday people, offers a framework for navigating life's ups and downs with clarity and strength. It's not about suppressing emotions, but mastering them. Over the next few chapters, we'll unpack 15 core Stoic lessons, each one a tool for building a life of purpose and tranquility. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical strategies for handling whatever comes your way. Let's get started. The first lesson is fundamental to Stoicism. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics believe that peace comes from understanding this critical distinction. So much of our stress comes from what we could influence but can't. The weather, the opinions of others, even the outcome of our best efforts. These are largely outside our direct control. Trying to force them is like trying to hold back the tide. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. But here's the empowering part. Your own actions, your thoughts, your responses to whatever life throws your way are your domain. This is your ground to stand on. When you direct your energy here, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. Think about a time you were consumed by worry. Were you fixated on something you couldn't change? Now think about a time you felt in control. You were focused on your actions, taking things one step at a time. That's the essence of this Stoic principle. Let go of what you can't control. Focus on what you can. It's about being strategic with your efforts. Imagine an archer aiming for a target. They can't control the wind, but they can control their aim. Life is like that. The second lesson is about accepting what happens with calm. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent, it means understanding that our judgments color our reality far more than we realize. The Stoics called this the art of acceptance. Think about it. An event itself is neutral until we assign meaning to it. A traffic jam is neither good nor bad inherently. It's our reaction that turns it into a source of stress or an opportunity to listen to a podcast. Life happens. There will be unexpected challenges, disappointments, even tragedies. But it's in those moments that we truly reveal our character. Do we meet difficulty with resistance, anger, despair? Or do we choose a different path? The Stoics believed that by cultivating inner stillness, we could weather any storm. Imagine a still pond. When a stone is thrown in, it creates ripples. But the pond itself doesn't cease to be. Our minds are similar. External events create ripples, but we can remain centered by practicing acceptance. Acknowledge without judgment. This is happening. Focus on what is within your control. The more we accept, the less we're controlled by external circumstances. The ancient Stoics considered self-discipline the root of all virtue. Without it, our best intentions crumble. Living virtuously takes daily commitment to doing what's right. Think of the sculptor, meticulously chipping away at the stone. These are testaments to the power of self-discipline. Self-discipline is about empowerment, unlocking our full potential. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with temptations, promising instant gratification at every turn. But the Stoics remind us that true freedom comes not from indulging in these fleeting pleasures, but from mastering them. It's about resisting the allure of the easy path, the siren song of procrastination and instant gratification. It's about choosing the difficult, the uncomfortable, the path of sustained effort and delayed reward. This is not to say that pleasure is inherently bad. Rather, it's about recognizing that true satisfaction comes from aligning our actions with our values. It's about experiencing the deep contentment that arises from living a life of purpose and intention. And that, my friends, is a freedom worth striving for. Life is a crucible. It's in the fires of adversity that we are forged and refined. The Stoics knew hardship is essential for growth. Think of the tree that has weathered countless storms. Its roots run deep, its trunk is strong. Challenges make it strong. The same applies to us. In struggle, we find our true strength. Every obstacle reveals our resilience. Hardship is an opportunity to emerge stronger than before. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words hold profound wisdom for life's challenges. The Stoics urge us to shift our perspective, see obstacles as stepping stones. Discover your true potential. Embrace the obstacle. Find your way. The human mind is a restless thing. It's forever dwelling on the past, replaying old regrets and grievances, or projecting itself into the future, consumed by anxieties and what-ifs. But the Stoics recognize the futility of this mental time travel. The past is gone, immutable. It exists only in our memories and our interpretations of those memories. To cling to it, to allow it to dictate our present experience, is to surrender our power to choose how we feel and act in this very moment. Similarly, the future is uncertain, a canvas yet unpainted. To fixate on it, to attempt to control its every stroke, is to invite anxiety and disappointment. It's to miss the beauty and potential of the present moment, the only moment we truly have. Living in the present moment is not about ignoring the past or dismissing the future. It's about recognizing that the only true power we have is in the here and now. Engage fully with this moment, with all its sensations, emotions, and possibilities. When we are fully present, we are more attuned to the world around us. We notice the beauty in the mundane, the subtle shifts in light and shadow, the gentle breeze on our skin. Our senses come alive, and we experience a deeper appreciation for the simple yet profound gift of being alive. By releasing our grip on the past and future, we free ourselves to experience the richness and fullness of life as it unfolds. So, let us strive to cultivate a practice of presence, to ground ourselves in the here and now, to savor each moment as it arises, and to meet whatever comes with a sense of openness and acceptance. For in the words of the poet Mary Oliver, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" The sixth Stoic lesson is a call to action, a principle woven into the fabric of a life well lived. It's about aligning your actions with virtue. Imagine your life as a ship navigating the vast ocean. Without a compass, you'd be lost. The Stoics believe that virtue is our compass. Wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, these are the cardinal virtues. Living virtuously doesn't require grand gestures. It's about the small choices we make each day. Choosing honesty over deceit. Speaking up for what's right. These are reflections of virtue in motion. Keep striving and aiming towards virtue. The seventh Stoic lesson invites us to contemplate a fundamental truth of existence: impermanence. Heraclitus, a pre-Socratic philosopher, famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." Everything around us is in constant flux. Just like the river, always flowing, always changing, so too is life itself. Friendships evolve, careers shift, and material possessions come and go. Clinging to the illusion of permanence only breeds anxiety and suffering. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. They knew that accepting impermanence is not about becoming indifferent or detached from life, but about embracing it fully. It's about appreciating the beauty of each moment, knowing that it too shall pass. Think of a blooming flower. Its beauty is breathtaking, yet fleeting. We cherish its presence while it lasts. This is the essence of understanding impermanence. Accepting change, we find peace. It's in this space of acceptance that we find true peace. The eighth Stoic lesson may seem counterintuitive in today's world, a world that constantly bombards us with messages of more. It's the practice of limiting desires. The Stoics offer a different perspective. True happiness is found not in having more, but in needing less. It's about finding contentment in the present moment. The more we chase after external things, the more elusive happiness becomes. Appreciate the simple abundance around us for deeper fulfillment. Limiting desires is not about deprivation. It's about conscious consumption. Do I really need this, or am I just caught in the cycle of wanting? Focus on what truly matters: our values, relationships, and contributions. Imagine the freedom from releasing the need to constantly acquire. This freedom allows us to live a life of purpose and meaning. The world is a messy place. So much is outside our control. Stoicism teaches us to detach from outcomes. We can't control the results of our efforts. Agonizing over things we can't control leads to misery. True peace comes from focusing on our actions. This is where our energy is best spent. It's tempting to tie our happiness to results, but disappointment can be crushing. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Did we aim well? Did we practice diligently? If yes, the outcome is secondary. This principle applies to every aspect of life. Goals give us direction, but obsessing over outcomes leads to anxiety. Find satisfaction in the doing, in the striving. Imagine a potter shaping clay. The focus is on the feel of the clay, the rhythm of the wheel. True fulfillment comes from the act of creation. Stoicism encourages a similar mindset. Focus on the process, refine your skills, accept what is within our control, embrace the process, find inner peace. In the relentless pursuit of more, it's easy to lose sight of what we already have. The 10th Stoic lesson, gratitude, serves as a powerful antidote to this all-too-common human tendency. It's a simple practice, yet its impact on our well-being is profound. Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, isn't about expressing polite thank yous. It's a deeper appreciation for the good in our lives. It's about shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. Think for a moment about the simple things we rely on every day: clean air to breathe, the warmth of the sun, the love of family and friends. These are not small things. Cultivating gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate rituals. It's about finding moments throughout the day to pause and reflect on the good that surrounds us. The Stoics believe that a grateful heart is a prerequisite for a peaceful mind. When we're consumed by desire or envy, we blind ourselves to the abundance in our lives. Gratitude allows us to appreciate the present moment and find contentment. One powerful way to cultivate gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. Take a few minutes each day to write down things you're grateful for. Express gratitude directly to others. Expressing gratitude strengthens relationships and reinforces our own thankfulness. Gratitude is a practice, a conscious choice to focus on the good. Emotions are powerful forces. They can propel us towards great heights or drag us down into despair. We are not slaves to our emotions. We can learn to control them and harness their energy. Within each of us lies an inner citadel, a fortress of reason and self-control. This is the seat of our Stoic practice. The key to emotional control lies in recognizing that our emotions are often triggered by our judgments about events, rather than the events themselves. When we experience a setback, It's not the setback itself that causes us to suffer, but our interpretation of it. The Stoics teach us to question these judgments, to examine them with the light of reason. Is the setback truly as bad as we perceive it to be? Is there another way to interpret the situation? By learning to pause between stimulus and response, we create space for reason to enter. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose a more measured and thoughtful response. This is the essence of Stoic emotional control, responding with reason, not reacting with unchecked emotion. The Stoics had a practice called memento mori, literally, remember you must die. At first, this might seem morbid, but it's actually a powerful tool for living. Think about it. If you knew your time was limited, wouldn't you cherish each day, each interaction, each experience a little bit more? Wouldn't you be more motivated to pursue your passions and mend broken relationships? Death is the one certainty in life. Yet, we often live as if we are invincible, pushing our dreams aside and taking our loved ones for granted. By meditating on our mortality, we gain clarity on what truly matters. We stop sweating the small stuff and start living with intention, making the most of the precious time we have. Many people fear death because they fear the unknown. The Stoics, however, saw death not as an end, but as a natural part of life's cycle. Just as we accept the changing seasons, the ebbing and flowing of the tides, we can learn to accept death's inevitability. This acceptance doesn't require us to become emotionless or indifferent. Rather, it allows us to approach life and death with a sense of tranquility. Freed from the fear of the unknown, we can focus on living fully in the present moment. Remember, it's not death that we should fear, but a life lived without purpose, a life where we haven't embraced each day as the gift that it is. No one goes through life without making mistakes. It's an inevitable part of the human experience. The Stoics understood this, recognizing that failure is a stepping stone on the path to wisdom. The key is to not let our mistakes define us. View mistakes as opportunities for learning and growth. Transform failures into valuable lessons, becoming more resilient. One of the bravest things we can do after a setback is to try again. It's easy to get discouraged, to allow the fear of failure to paralyze us. But the Stoics remind us that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Every mistake, every stumble, presents a chance to start anew, armed with the wisdom gained from our past experiences. Don't be afraid to experiment, to take risks, knowing that even if you don't succeed on the first try, you've learned something valuable. Embrace the iterative process of life, constantly striving, adapting, and growing. Remember the words of Seneca, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Let your mistakes be the stepping stones to a wiser, more resilient you. The 14th lesson from Stoicism might surprise some people. It's about helping others. You might think Stoicism encourages detachment from the world, but that's not the whole picture. We are all part of a larger human community. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." Our well-being is tied to the well-being of others. Helping others is a fundamental part of living a good life. Helping others doesn't always require grand gestures. It can be as simple as lending a listening ear, offering a word of encouragement, or performing an act of kindness. The Stoics believe true strength lies in power over oneself, choosing compassion over indifference, extending a helping hand. Every interaction is an opportunity to practice virtue. We encounter people who are struggling, carrying burdens we may not see. By choosing kindness and generosity, we ease their burden and lighten our own. We cultivate resilience and empathy, making us stronger and wiser. The final Stoic lesson for a peaceful life is keeping your ego in check. In a world that tells us to chase success and recognition, humility can feel radical. The Stoics understood that ego is a trap. It blinds us to our faults and prevents growth. Ego leads to prideful decisions and conflicts. The Stoics offered humility as the antidote. True humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less. When we let go of the need to be right, to be admired, to be the center of attention, we free ourselves. We free ourselves from the tyranny of other people's opinions, from the endless cycle of comparison and competition. We become open to new ideas, new perspectives, new ways of seeing the world. We become better listeners, better learners, better friends, partners, and citizens. We develop a quiet confidence from self-awareness. The Stoics believed humility is the compass that guides us. It allows us to acknowledge our limitations and learn from our mistakes. Approach life with a beginner's mind, always eager to learn and grow. So there you have it, 15 powerful lessons from Stoicism that anyone can apply to their daily lives. These teachings have stood the test of time for a reason. They offer a path to a more peaceful, resilient, and meaningful life. These lessons aren't just abstract concepts. They are practical tools for navigating the challenges of life with courage, wisdom, and grace. They remind us that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external circumstances, but from within. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from these lessons. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay mindful and live with purpose.